Coach Chad Johnson, thanks for being with us, man. It's playoff time, and you've had a week now with your young men. Tell us what the attitudes are like and what we can anticipate when the Wolves take on Claremore at Booker T. Washington tomorrow night, which is Friday night at 7:30 p.m.
Yeah, I mean it's a great opportunity for our team to put our best foot forward and to continue to try to improve. Obviously, the stakes are a little bit higher, but I've challenged our team to approach tomorrow just like we would any game, because regardless of the magnitude of the game or the implications involved, the truth of the matter, in my opinion at least, is that it's just another basketball game. And I know sometimes that sounds like coach talk, but I think for our group, it's very important for us to keep the main thing, which is ultimately playing to the best of our ability, playing to our standard. And I believe if we are able to do that, then we'll be able to see some favorable results.
So tell us about practice. How has it been? Who's been stepping up in practice? What about the leadership roles? Just fill us in as you can. Now, we may have lost Chad for a moment. I'm sure that there he is. Were you able to hear the question, Chad?
Can you hear me?
I can. Yes.
You were asking about practice. Practice has been fine. I mean, we've had obviously 3 or 4 days, or maybe even more than that, to really just get back to the basics. Really try to fine tune a lot of the things that we've were really tried to stress and encourage. And I think that it's been beneficial for us. I think there's been some opportunity for our guys to really reset, including our staff, and just in terms of ultimately trying to figure out ways we can be better. And that's the blessing and the beauty of not really having to prepare for a game every other day. You've had, basically a week to prepare for one team. And although I did say it is, one game similar to the rest of the games, it does allow you to really put a lot of your time, energy, and effort into trying to beat Claremore, which, as most people know, if you win the first game, you get to continue to play on. And if you don't, unfortunately, your season's over with. And so that's kind of been the theme of just getting our guys to understand that, hey, we don't have to be superheroes. We don't have to be anybody any different than what we've been, but we do have to play to the best of our ability. And I think that they are starting to understand that. And I think that another day of preparation today will ultimately help us go out and tomorrow to compete to the best of our abilities.
So, Coach, help those who don't know understand
Having
Oklahoma
a little
State
trouble
playoff.
hearing. Hold on one second.
No
I don't
problem.
know. I'm on my phone, so hopefully you guys can hear me, and I can see your mouth moving, but I can't hear you. It's like you're muted.
Try. Can you hear me now? No.
Hold on one second.
Well, we are in a remote location, and what a blessing it is to be able to talk to Coach Johnson. And what, here he is. How about
All right.
now, Coach?
We're good to go. We're good. We're good. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So, my question would be for those who don't quite understand OSSAA playoffs and how they work in Oklahoma, you said you get to play on if you win the first game. Losers of the first game are out.
Correct.
But you win the first game. Talk about what that means and how you get to play on.
Yeah. So the way it works in Oklahoma for 5A and 6A at least, it gives you an opportunity to try to make the state tournament, or at least continue to extend your season after the first game. Assuming you win the first game, you have an opportunity to play the very next day against the winner of the other team in the region. And then from there, you would go into area. So win the game on Friday, you're playing Saturday. Win or lose on Saturday, you're going to be playing in area.
Coach,
And then from there,
help
can
me
you hear me?
out. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I cannot hear you. I just would like you to check if you're muted.
Okay. I just unmuted and muted again. Can you hear me now? Hold on. Let me try one more thing.
Technical difficulties get us. Sometimes it happens here. And with Oklahoma playoffs, um, we'll bring him back here.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
All righty. It's we're
So
just
let
getting
me
prepared for tomorrow, just trying to be able to navigate any type of curveballs that we may be thrown tomorrow. So this is good practice for me.
let me reiterate just to make sure that I have it straight. You win tomorrow, you go on to the regional final,
Correct.
and both participants in the regional final go on to area, which would
Correct.
be the next round next week. So the
Correct.
first game versus Claremore, huge for the
Yeah,
Wolves and for our season.
absolutely. There's no secret about that. Everybody's wanting to extend their season, and the only way you can do that is obviously you win the first game, and that's really the only thing that I'm focused on right now. Anything beyond that, we'll focus on and we'll worry about when we get there. But you can't get to Saturday unless you get past Friday.
And you, of course, playing at Booker T, which means one of the best teams in the country is hosting your region. Would that be a correct assumption?
Correct.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit about Claremore, what they look like through the season. What have you learned? Just tell us who they are. Give us an identity for Claremore.
Yeah, Claremore's a very solid team. Obviously, they are uh, in the position they're in, being the fourth seed, because they've won a number of games. I've watched them a handful of times now, and I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of who they are and what they're ultimately trying to accomplish. But they have a few players on their team that are some difference makers. Their senior guard is a very aggressive player. He's a guy that we have to be very mindful of and pay a lot of attention to because he's very crafty in getting to certain spots on the floor. They also have a big who's pretty good sized kid, probably 6'7", I'd imagine, somewhere around there. And I would imagine that he's going to be very aggressive against our big or our player who plays the big, Aiden Sakaros. And so I would imagine those two will have a pretty good battle just because of the skill set both of them possess. And then beyond that, they have a couple of guys that are really, really solid. And I think the one thing that I know about them is they're going to be well coached. Coach Randy Rutherford's coached high school basketball for a number of years, had a very good stint at McLean, and is now taking over at Claremore. And it's funny. I'm kind of a basketball junkie, so if you follow Oklahoma basketball or know anything about basketball in general, the name Randy Rutherford will definitely resonate with you. Arguably one of the best players to go through Oklahoma State during their heyday in the '90s, and so oddly enough, I found myself watching some old clips the other day of him in college, and I was like, man, this guy could play. And not that it means anything, or I would really talk about myself, but there's very few times where I feel like if I was to play one on one against a coach, that I probably would not come out on the right side of that one. And that just kind of speaks to the career he had and the type of player he was. And I know he's doing a phenomenal job there at Claremore.
So funny because when you said Randy Rutherford, that's exactly what I was thinking. And of course, he was under the tutelage of Eddie Sutton, one of the best ever
Yeah, absolutely.
to coach the game of collegiate basketball, at least. I think many would agree with that. Now, the namesake of the court at OSU. That's an interesting little
Absolutely.
tidbit. But the two teams sound relatively similar with the craftiness
Yeah.
of Ramel and the big man play of Aiden. It sounds like it's going to be an entertaining matchup.
Yeah. I mean, we'll definitely have to be locked in and really, really prepared for sure, just because at this point in the season, records don't really mean a whole lot. Who you beat, for a lot of the season doesn't matter at this point in the season. So you have to be very, very detailed in your approach and very, very locked into what you're trying to get accomplished. And I know that they're going to be prepared. We have to make sure that we're prepared. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about the players, right? I can have the best game plan, I can have the best scheme. But at the end of the day, especially in this time of year, players make plays. And so you've got to go out there and compete to the best of your ability and ultimately live with the results.
Well, the results will come tomorrow night, Friday night, 7:30 p.m. The boys go up to play Claremore at Booker T. Washington. That's always a fun place. Get something to eat before you leave. Keep those sales tax dollars in Shawnee, but enjoy a night of basketball and visit the concession stand when you get up there. Coach, man,
Yes,
always
sir.
great to talk with you. And what are some last thoughts for you this week going into your playoff spot?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried not to make it bigger than what it is, because at the end of the day, it is just another game. And I know that for a lot of these guys, there's going to be inherent nerves, and I think that there's some benefit to having some nerves. That means you care. But I think at the end of the day, if you go out there with the confidence that you are prepared, go out there trusting your teammates, trusting your coaching staff, trusting yourself. Then I think you can play with a little more confidence. And so I'm excited for our team. I'm excited for our group to go out and really uh, kind of go gold ball chasing. I know that that seems like a very down the road approach. I mean, you've got to win 3 games to get there, and we're going to take it one game at a time. But I think that ultimately, this is the best time of year, especially as an athlete in basketball, to be able to put your best foot forward and try to go represent your school, your community, and your family as best as you can.
So everybody get out. Community support in the gym on Friday night will be important. Coach Chad Johnson, thank you, as always, for joining us with the Coach Chad Johnson Coaches Show right here on ShawneeCTV, where together we build community one season at a time. Chad, thanks a lot,
Thanks,
man.
guys.